If you like running the ball, then you're in luck, because in this video, I'm about to break down my favorite two-play run scheme in Madden 23. Looking for Madden 23 coins? AOEAH.com is the cheapest and most reliable coins on the market. Click the link in the description and use coupon code SPORTS for 3% off your order. Yo, YouTube, what is up? It is Duke, back here from Sportsgamerz.com, and in today's Madden 23 tip video, I'm about to break down my favorite run scheme in the game. This run scheme is extremely effective against all the defenses you see when you play online. You can use the two plays I'm about to show you guys to beat man defenses, zone defenses, blitzing defenses, or coverage defenses. So, we're going to be looking at this strong eye tight. You can find this in the Run Heavy playbook. The Run Heavy playbook actually is a very good playbook this year. It probably has the best, I want to say probably does have the best gun bunch tight end in the game. The gun bunch tight end, not as popular as it was last year because the PA boot over is not as easy to exploit, but still it's a good formation. It has some actually really nice stuff, especially if you like running the ball. There's definitely some gems out of this playbook. Now, the two plays we're going to look at are going to be the dive and the stretch. They actually work very well with one another, with some things we can do to beat all the meta defenses out there, especially very well. And I'm going to show you guys how these two runs can work well off one another. So make sure that they're in your audibles as they are here, so you can kind of audible between the two. So let's start with the stretch. Now, one of the most common defenses in the game right now, I would say overall, the three most common Ds, or I would say probably the top two, are still Spinner from Dollar and Overstorm Brave. You still do see people try to mix in the loop blitz even after the patch. People are saying, that it's not as good. I definitely would agree with that, but you're still seeing people running. I mean, it is what it is. But let's just start looking at Overstorm Brave. So before we set this up and get any further, I'm just going to move the ball back so we have some more space to work with. And I do want to remind you guys that I do Madden 23 tip videos, I do gameplays, I do news on a daily basis on my channel. We have free, great content on my channel. So if you enjoy this free content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button, guys, if you're really rocking me. If we get to 300 likes on this video, I'll actually post some passing plays you can mix in with the scheme that are very effective. So let's get it. Now, with this run, when you're going up against nickel normal, what I like to do is literally just snap it to the strong side. Most people will run nickel normal with auto flip on, and as you guys can see there, that's an easy little hole to get to the outside. I highly recommend checking out Sportsgamerz.com. This is where I post all my premium content for Madden 23. I have offensive and defensive eBooks, schemes, plus I do 4 to 6 premium tips every week in the Madden Vault to keep you guys ahead of the game. Our best offer yet is the Sportsgamerz Madden VIP membership. This is the best Madden membership anywhere on the net, the best content at the best price. You get access to the entire site for only $24.99. This means all of our ebooks, all of our Madden Vault tips, plus you even get access to our meta reports and our exclusive VIP members only community. I also do one-on-one coaching as well for you guys that are interested in that. See you at Sportsgamerz.com. If you're serious about winning more games, I will post a link in the description as well as in the comments. Maybe some more speed there. We might be able to break it for even a bigger gain. But as is, we were still able to get a solid chunk of yards here. This is going to keep the chains moving. You snap it at, say, the 33, and, we're able to get upfield, get down to about the 38 or so. That's, 5 yards. Now, one thing you guys may consider doing when you're going up against a heavy man-to-man defense like this is just motioning this receiver across the formation. What this is going to do is in man-to-man, his defensive back is going to follow him across the formation. That essentially will clear out the strong side of the tight end and the fullback, and now at this point, really all you have to worry about is getting around the safety. If you're able to do that, you're going to have probably a touchdown. So now we're going to switch it up to show zone. So we're going to switch it up to cover 2, show you guys what it would look like if they're in zone. Now, one thing I'll say is against zone, you don't want to motion that receiver over, because as you guys can see here, if you do that, the DB is not going to follow. So you're basically going to lose a number in the run game. You're going to lose a blocker. So there's no point of that. So that actually will tell you, by the way, in case you're wondering, using motion like that will give you a tell if they're in man or zone. Because if they're man, the DB will follow, whereas if they're in zone, he will not. You'll also notice I subbed in Aaron Jones in the game. That's just strictly because I personally prefer faster running backs this year. I know a lot of people like the big running backs that can run guys over. And don't get me wrong, I do too. But at the end of the day, I would rather have those extra 2 speed points because I already know that That's going to allow me, if I do get to the edge, to have more potential to turn those 5-10 yard runs into huge plays, maybe even touchdowns. And to me, I'm going to take that all day long. This game is a more defensive game, than it was last year. So, if I have the chance to break a touchdown, to me that's more valuable than potentially running someone over. As you guys can see here, exactly what I'm talking about. Well, I didn't get a touchdown. That extra speed showed up on that first play. Now I was able to get out, and instead of, getting 5 to 10 yards, the blocking was really good. I was able to get a much bigger run here. Really, at this point, he had the angle on me, so all I could try to do is juke, make him miss. And, still, though, very positive run. So you guys can see that, if they're in zone, and we'll audible to something else this time, we'll go cover two drop. This stretch still is very, very effective against zone 2. The thing against zone is, like I said, you're not going to have the safeties attack you as aggressively as they will have cover 0. So you just got to be a little bit more patient following your blocks. When they're kind of in those cover 0 defenses, it's really easy to just get that safety kicked out and blocked with these good runs. But when they're in zone, they don't attack the line so aggressively like that. Like here, we're back in cover 0. We're in spinner, right? So you're going to notice that these safeties are going to come down hard on the run, just like that. See? So he's easily able to get blocked. Now it's just literally just hopefully that receiver blocks the DB. He didn't there. Now, another thing I want to point out, and I've said this a lot this year, is this run has the receiver on that little assignment where he is going vertically downfield in that gray line, right? That's a runoff. If you guys take a look at the replay, when they're in man, the DBs, they don't even recognize this as a run play at first. They just run downfield with the receiver as if it's a pass play when they're in man, right? So if you put the runoff elite ability on your receiver, it'll actually work much better. He'll actually basically run them out of the stands, and that's obviously an exaggeration, but it does work better. You guys can see here, he doesn't recognize it's actually a run play until about 10 yards down the field. He actually did it the last second there, luckily, otherwise it's probably, again, would have been a huge play if not a touchdown. Still a pretty big run there, right? And that's why, to me, it's easier to consistently get big runs against man. Now, don't get me wrong, you still can get big runs against zone 2, just you're going to see, this is cover 2. It's a little bit different. We're not looking to go so far to the outside because against zone, A, you don't see those DBs getting ran off the ball on the outside over the receiver. And B, unless it's cover 4, you don't see the safeties just shooting down immediately to run. Look, the safeties take about 2 to 3 steps back before they even react to the run. And this corner over here, he's, engaged trying to get off the block, right? He's not running as if he thinks it's a pass. So I still do get a good game, but you guys see I'm kind of cutting up between those blocks instead of just going directly to the outside. So you do need a little bit more vision and patience against zone. Now you're probably wondering when to use the dive. Well, so for me, the dive is pretty self-explanatory when I use it. So if I see somebody in a defense like that we were just in, like cover 2, but see, they keep their D-line or they just keep their defense in general more spread out like this, I'm going to just audible to the dive because a lot of these defenses this year, people will pinch the entire defense and that, brings the DBs up in the box. It pinches the D-line and linebackers. Those defenses are really easy to run stretch on. But if someone doesn't do this and keeps their defense or their D-line especially spread out, why not just run dive? And the dive is definitely not as big of a play potential as the stretch. Right there, we get 5-6 yards, something like that. But, you do need to run the dive in the proper time. Because you guys see, if you try to force stretch against a more spread out look, you might only get a couple yards or not that great of a play because it's not the right time to run it. But if we audible to the dive and just take what's there, we have the ability to get a lot more consistent gains up the middle. So just be smart. If you see them spread out, call the dive. Because by calling the dive, even if you only get 4 yards, you do a dive 3 times, get 4 yards each, that's 12 yards, that's the first down. That's going to make them start pinching their entire defense, and that's then going to allow you to get more yards. Now, lastly, I want to look at just a cover 4, because that is zone, but the safeties do get more aggressive out of cover 4. So it's kind of the same thing, guys. If they're going to be more spread out like this, again, I would always just recommend audibling to the dive. Again, you get those 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yard gains. You don't think they're the biggest plays in the world, but they're what we need. That time was actually a little bit longer. We'll definitely take that. Again, with the dive, you're looking to attack up the middle, but you can cut back left. You don't always have to follow the fullback. I saw a better hole to the left, so cut back up. Actually fell forward a few times for some extra yardage. Same time, though, you guys can see if you look closely here, before we move on to another example, look how the safeties, they immediately step up against the run. And that's because this is cover 4, right? So that's the main difference in a cover 4 versus a cover 2 or cover 3 against the run. All that said, if they go ahead, maybe they pinch their defense, right? They're in this cover 4, 3-5, they pinch their defense, right? Or at least pinch their D-line. At this point, you're fine running the stretch. I would not recommend running dive against this look. It's too, pinched, too compressed up in the middle, right? Too much traffic to really work through. However, that lets you know stretch is going to be a good play call. This year, it's really difficult to stop stretches if you're going to pinch your defense or the D-line. When you're doing that, you're definitely leaving yourself vulnerable to a stretch, and really the only way you're going to stop the stretch is if your user just makes a really good play, but that's going to be difficult to consistently do. So, bottom line here to make this simple for you guys. Anytime you see a pinch defensive look, run stretch. I don't care if it's man or zone, run stretch. It's going to be more effective if they're using the man-to-man cover 0 meta stuff, but it'll still work against zone as long as they're pinching at least their D-line, if not their whole defense. Now, if they keep it kind of like spread out, especially if they're in a 3-man line, whether it be a dollar, a 3-3, nickel, whatever, 3-5, whatever you want to call it, run dive. Again, you're not always going to get the huge runs with dive, but it's going to be the runs that move the chains and also make them adjust to stop the inside run, which will then open up the stretch, which will be probably the run you get the bigger gains off of. So, hope you guys enjoyed this run scheme. Like I said, this is my favorite two-play run scheme in the game. It is very easy to use, but it's very effective and hard to stop. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, and I'll be back soon with some more great content. Until next time, I'm out of here.